The story comes to us from abcactionnews.com. And I'll point out the elephant in the room. It's a sunburn from the live stream I did out at the court on Friday. So when I went out there and they had the fire drill and did all the, that I got sunburn. Is that karma? Anyway, moving on. Out of Florida, there's a series that they're doing at ABC Action News, and it continues with the story of a former Florida prisoner who's now paralyzed after being beaten by corrections officers. The I-Team from ABC Action News learned that while the state has paid out $4.65 million, that's tax dollars, to settle the case the officers believed to be responsible for having beaten Cheryl Weimer have yet to face criminal charges 3 years later.
The state attorney's office confirmed their office finally received the case from the FDLE. FDLE simply conducted a review, interviewing eyewitnesses, any video, the state prison policies and procedures on use of force. The prosecutor now determines if what's laid out is criminal. When we heard from Cheryl Weimer exclusively last month, she had no trouble recounting what she says happened while inside of Lowell Correctional Institution in Rural Lake County, the largest prison for women in the country.
Get on your knees and get in there and finish that toilet. I said, I can't.
She has to be fed. You have to brush her teeth. You have to give her a bath.
All I see in front of me is a brick wall. A brick wall. And all I remember is my head went flying through it.
Now, Weimer is in Fort Walton Beach at one of the few facilities in Florida that accepts convicted felons and can provide for her extensive needs. Weimer appreciates little things, she says, like a few minutes of fresh air in a park away from her nursing home. Again, she's paralyzed. And she hopes by speaking out that she may help prevent other incarcerated individuals from suffering at the hands of corrections officers, who, again, nearly 3 years later, have not been charged.
The state attorney and his prosecutors will now determine if what happened to Cheryl is criminal. Transcripts of interviews that we have never seen before give us a glimpse of the accounts agents heard. One woman stating a group of inmates were in line and watched the handcuffed inmate drug through the compound, the officer screaming, "Look away," or else face being pepper sprayed. In that moment, she says they knew they would be pepper sprayed for no reason other than watching them abuse an inmate.
Weimer was quoted as saying, "I can feel my bones. It's like somebody took an axe and went right through me." She said, "When I woke up in the ICU, knowing that I was paralyzed from the neck down, I didn't see me making it." Now, on August 21st of 2019, Weimer was assigned to clean toilets, but said she was in pain from a hip injury. She said, "I did about 7 toilets and realized I couldn't do any more. So I got down to the 8th one and I said, I can't do it." That's when, she said, the corrections officer, Ryan Dion, and Lieutenant Keith Turner handcuffed her and then attacked her in front of more than a dozen witnesses. Weimer recalled, "The lieutenant came running up in the back with his steel-toed boots and put it right through my spine. I mean, I went to my knees." According to the lawsuit, while she was on the ground, they brutally beat her with blows to her head, her neck, and her back. The lawsuit alleges Weimer was elbowed and kneed in the back of her neck by at least one of her attackers, causing her to suffer a broken neck. In one of the videos, her chin is touching her chest in a way that's physically impossible without a broken neck, her attorney, Ryan Andrews, says. He said he could not share the disturbing videos due to a settlement agreement. So under a settlement agreement, they can't share the videos. Andrews said her labored breathing, her attempts at crying, it was horrible. Her begging, saying she couldn't move her extremities, it was horrific. Weimer was airlifted to a hospital where she underwent multiple surgeries and months of treatment.
We were able to get some bit of justice for Cheryl and get her out of prison and get her probation terminated. But it doesn't mean that these individuals should skate by on criminal charges if they're appropriate. And I think the witness testimony from the witnesses in this case makes that very clear.
Now, initially, the guards accused of assaulting her remained on the job despite their questionable pasts. Arsenault said, everybody covers everybody's back. You just sweep it under the rug and go about your business. Both Dion and Turner had records of violence towards women and girls. According to the lawsuit, Dion was arrested in 2013 for beating his then girlfriend, as well as biting her neck and head area. This guy's a corrections officer. The charges were dropped when his victim refused to testify, allowing Dion to qualify for employment by the Florida Department of Corrections. The lawsuit also alleges Turner showed violent, threatening, and abusive conduct towards women based on dozens of inmate complaints against him. Well, they don't care about it. They're inmates. Yeah, just toss it in the trash over there. Put it in the shredder. The Department of Justice investigation into the mistreatment of prisoners at Lowell said Turner was accused repeatedly of sexually abusing multiple prisoners. However, he remained in his position until 2019 when he was arrested on charges of sexually molesting 2 girls. They could have terminated one of the individuals for any one of 10 different things that he had complaints against him for, Attorney Andrews said. They didn't, and they gave him the opportunity to be there and do what he did to Cheryl Weimer.
One of the accused officers was arrested on unrelated charges 3 months later. The other continued to work at the women's prison until 8 days after the DLC settled a $4.6 million lawsuit with Weimar late last year. Both sat during depositions in that civil case and invoked their Fifth Amendment right to stay silent.
Now, transcripts show Dion and Turner asserted their Fifth Amendment right more than 600 combined times during depositions. In the affirmative defenses Dion and Turner filed in the lawsuit, they stated their actions were not committed in bad faith with malicious purpose or in a manner exhibiting wanton or willful disregard of human rights or safety. Yet they paralyzed this lady from the neck down. Attempts to contact them for comment were unsuccessful, and they probably will remain unsuccessful. The Florida Department of Corrections settled the lawsuit in 2020 and paid $4.65 million. It's not going to help her walk. Her life's over. Dion resigned from his position several days later. No charge. And it goes down. It talks more about it. In fact, there's a backstory of Cheryl Weimer in here. It talks about the hard life that she had leading up to her being in this corrections facility. I just didn't go through all of that. But if you want to read it, it's in the description box. Go click that link. You can read the whole story. But Florida, man, what's going on in Florida? So it's okay for corrections officers just to beat somebody down until they're paralyzed and then just, you're going to get fired if you don't resign. I'll resign. Okay, bye. No charge?